Happy New Year, South Africa. Welcome to 2026. This is 10 Minutes with Kuhle from Turning Point South Africa. A new year usually comes with new hopes, new promises, and if you're governed by the ANC, the same old cock and bull. As we step into 2026, many South Africans are wishing for stability, growth, and leadership that understands the way the world works, not as if it is 1994, where we are the land of Mandela. And that's exactly why today's conversation matters. Because while South Africans are trying to move forward, the ANC government is busy pretending that geopolitics runs on slogans, struggle credentials, and moral lectures. And short notice, no, it doesn't. What happened in Venezuela today is not just ordinary news. It's a New Year's warning. Let us not forget about Nigeria a few weeks ago. And it is aimed squarely at countries that believe the United States will tolerate disrespect indefinitely. Let's clear something up early. In 2026, Venezuela did not collapse because of sanctions. It did not collapse because of Trump, and it certainly didn't collapse because of capitalism. Venezuela collapsed because its leadership believed a lie that sounds very familiar. America needs us more than we need America. Ramaphosa. It started with revolutionary speeches inspired by Fidel Castro and Che Guevara. Revolutionary speeches instead of economic competence. Anti-US rhetoric for domestic applause from China and much of Africa, because that's what Pan-Africanism is. Aligning with America's enemies while cashing Western checks sounds like something South Africa does. Shouting sovereignty every time accountability was mentioned. Then Donald J. Trump arrived. And Trump, unlike professional diplomats, does not confuse patience with weakness. He draws lines, and when those lines are crossed, there are consequences. That's not cruelty. That's reality. Trump is ushering a new form of diplomacy, not the one of European leaders such as Macron or Sir Keir Starmer, who smile from cheek to cheek, even though you are doing rubbish. And that is what we saw at the G20, where you've got Macron smiling, I enjoyed my time in South Africa. That's the old way of diplomacy. Now let's bring this home. South Africa believes it has discovered a geopolitical cheat code. Take Western money, enjoy Western markets, depend on Western systems, while insulting Western allies and openly flirting with their rivals. The ANC calls this non-alignment. Now, what do I mean? Things like telling businesses to come invest in South Africa while you've got BEE, while you've got expropriation without compensation, while you align yourself to Iran and Palestine. Washington calls this bad faith, and it is. You cannot claim neutrality while hosting military drills with US adversaries, which we are going to see, by the way, next week in Cape Town, which is it's actually being led by China and being hosted in South Africa. Weird, but nonetheless, voting against US at international forums is something that we've done, providing cover for authoritarian regimes, and then asking for trade access, aid, and diplomatic patience. That is something we do, and that's what Venezuela has been doing. That's not alignment, that's arrogance. And arrogance is expensive. Let's talk about AGOA, because the ANC treats it like it's a birthright. AGOA is not permanent. AGOA is not automatic. AGOA is not charity. AGOA is a strategic privilege granted by the United States of America. It allows South Africans to export billions of rands worth of goods duty-free into American markets, supporting manufacturing jobs, agriculture, automotive plants, numerous industries, to say the least. as well as creating thousands and thousands of jobs right across, from industrial supply chains to agriculture, as I've mentioned. And yet the ANC behaves like America owes us this excess, this go free card. No matter how hostile our foreign policy becomes, the ANC thinks or believes America owes them. Here's the truth. The ANC doesn't like hearing. The US does not owe South Africa market access. If AGOA goes, factories close, jobs vanish, farms run dry, they don't have anyone to sell to, investors leave, and revolutionary slogans won't reopen them. Just ask the Venezuelans who have been on a Maduro diet. Now, the Maduro diet, for those of you who don't know, is because on average, Venezuelans have lost 10 kgs ever since Maduro has been in charge. Now, let's talk about PEPFAR, something the ANC prefers to downplay. For years, the United States, especially under conservative leadership, funded life-saving HIV/AIDS treatment in South Africa. Not for applause, not for hashtags, but because America understood that failed states create global problems. Now, PEPFAR saved millions of South African lives, stabilized our healthcare systems, as well as eased the burden on our government when it came to its ailing public care health system, prevented economic collapse, and yet the same government benefiting from the support at a point in time lectures America about imperialism. The irony is painful. The ANC preaches sovereignty while relying on American taxpayers to keep its healthcare system afloat. That's not independence. That's dependence without attitude. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Now, let's chat a bit about USAID. Because USAID, let's be honest, in 2026, USAID is not kindness. USAID is not charity. USAID is strategic influence. When USAID supports a country, it signals trust. When it pulls back, it signals doubt. And when you see AGOA under review, which it has been paused, which you all do know, PEPFAR, which has also been stopped, but it's also under scrutiny at the moment, USAID being recalibrated, you are not witnessing coincidence. You are witnessing America reassessing South Africa quietly, deliberately, without drama. No need for bombs if you want to kill the ANC government. Sometimes just kill them where it hurts most. Hurt the voters. No more ARVs. No more adequate health care to treat ailing patients. Now, let's talk about incidents that should have set off alarms. The US-linked refugee processing program for South African minorities was raided, operations halted, processes disrupted. That was not administration. That was provocation. Refugee programs exist because the US sees warning signs, and the US plans ahead, prepares for instability. Interfering with that process sends one message, one big message. We dare you to respond. And Trump-style America always responds. Even if it's not today, but be wary, it will respond. It might just not respond loudly, not emotionally, but it will be effective. And we've seen this in Nigeria, where Trump warned the Islamists about killing Christians, and you saw those attacks, the air raids that came through. And we just saw it in Venezuela this morning. Here's why this moment matters. Donald Trump is not chaotic. He is transactional. He believes nations must stand on their own feet, and I agree. Alliances must be mutual. Power must be respected. Weak governments hate that strong states understand that. Venezuela ignored the warnings. South Africa is still receiving the warnings, and that's the difference for now. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here at 10 Minutes with Kuhle, I would like to wish you a happy 2026. I will urge you to register to vote in these elections. If you are in Tshwane, please vote for Celia Brink, because I do think he's actually the only guy that can fix Tshwane. If you're in Joburg, vote for Helen Zula. If you're in Cape Town, vote for Jordan. Now, a key thing just to mention is we have started our second channel called Turning Point South Africa, which is a YouTube channel which will be sharing pro-Judeo-Christian values, and is a conservative free market channel which will be championing the right-wing conservative part of South Africa. So please do make sure to click and subscribe to that channel as well as you can buy me a coffee by sending me a super chat in the comments below, and you can support this tea attendance with Kuhle, because we do have salaries to pay, believe it or not, especially now with Turning Point South Africa and new podcasters coming on board. You can support us by sponsoring this channel. It's simple. You can send me an email. It's in the description below, right at the end, as well as you can choose to sponsor this channel by using the 500 Rand episode sponsorship platform, which means I can advertise your company on a specific episode on either channel for 500 Rand per episode. And that's it for today. Shabbat Shalom, guys.